Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. How's it? Welcome into another episode of Loose Cannons, almost a full week late after the fact of first game of the season. I feel like I sound like I'm sick, and I'm not. Do I sound all right to you? Oh, wait, hang on. Why are you muted? There. Do I sound all right to you? And you're gone.
Yeah, I got a phone call. Give me 1 second. Sorry.
No, you're fine. You're fine. I don't know. I feel like I sound like I'm sick. Which I'm not. But anyway, I am wearing, however, for those watching on YouTube or Twitter, the new goalkeeper kit. This thing is great. I love it. It's real nice, lightweight for this time of year. It'll be great to put a long sleeve t-shirt under it later in the year when it's cold. But this thing is like a dress on me. I'm 5'10". This is an extra large. And it's like down to like above my knees. It's crazy how long this thing is. I bought the third kit. I got that one. That's an extra large, and it fits me perfectly. But this thing is, I don't know. I'm like swimming in this thing. Fits great up here. Like it hides my fat well, I guess is the bottom line. So life will get in the way when you have the best laid plans. We wanted to try to do this excuse me, every Monday, but we are here Friday afternoon. One game under our belts, the trip to Old Trafford is out of the way with. And considering how poorly I think we played, kind of generally speaking, it wasn't all a piss poor effort. It certainly wasn't that. We had moments, and we certainly defended well enough to get a 1-0 win and a clean sheet. So, there are some positives to take away from this, which we will get into. But the possession of the ball on Sunday was a bit atrocious, if I may use that word. The goal, we'll get into that in a minute. But overall, I felt like we were second best pretty much all day on the ball, in winning 50-50 balls and winning duels and things like that. I thought we were second best. Heavy first touches, passes to no one, seemingly. When you play that poorly and you can take all 3 points, defend the way that we did when it mattered is, I dare say, without jinxing anything, this is kind of what we want to see when we're not at our best, and we can put a defensive effort like that forward and get the job done. That's what it takes. That's what it takes to win trophies in this game, in this league. And the other competitions that we'll be in as well. So not happy by any stretch of the imagination with the performance, but the result. First few matches of the season, it's more about the result really than it is the performance, because I think we're still getting our feet wet. We're still finding our way, if you will. So I will turn it over to you, good sir, because I'm very curious as to what you think. You've been a lot more positive than what most of the guys in our group chat for our survivor pool were on Sunday after the performance. So the floor is yours. Off you go.
I caught like a tail end of that. But yeah, I don't know. I saw a lot of good things, a lot of not so good things. I think a lot of the not so good things are going to happen first game of the season. I think the not so good things are going to easily be ironed out. And it's also like no matter what Man U team comes out, no matter what Arsenal team comes out, we struggle at Old Trafford. It just happened every season. Got some kind of like witch magic or something, some hoodoo or voodoo or whatever. And also, I think a big thing that I don't think many people are talking about that I've heard is they did a better job playing to their striker than we did. And I'm sure we'll get into that when we talk more about Gilchrist. But yeah, I think that, they had like 50, 53, 54 long balls in the game. We had like 31. They played over our midfield constantly, which, I mean, they had to. Our midfield was way better than theirs. And that's Embuemo's strength. Embuemo's strength is getting long balls over the midfield. He's a big physical body. And he made use of them. I mean, obviously not perfect use because they did not score. But yeah, no, I think we played horrible. I'm not saying we didn't. We were terrible. I also think that could be Man U's like best performance of the season. So it's like,
see, let me ask you this. Something I've been thinking about. If that game happens, say November, December, does United win that game? Do you think?
No, I don't think we play that bad. I mean, I know we don't play.
No, I'm saying if not just the game, but if we just take that game and we put it in November, December, where okay, we're well into the season now, but we put in that performance. United puts in the same performance, but do their opportunities now go in the net because they're a little bit crisper, they're a little bit sharper? Does it make sense?
I don't know if they had the crispest of chances, or I don't really. They had a lot of shots. Ryan made 7 saves, man of the match performance, but I wasn't really. I think the only time where I was like, oh man, I thought that went in was in Buemo's header, which is what I think that was in the second half.
Yeah,
Ryan made a really nice save, but like other than that, I really wasn't. I don't know. I just also too like, man, you've been so bad for so long that we play poorly at Old Trafford, but I wasn't. And it's funny, I had multiple people, 3-point sniper including, texting me, "Oh, am I nervous?" I'm like, no, I'm really not. Yeah. And I said this before the game. The only way we lose this game, or no, I said the only way we drop points in this game is if we beat ourselves, and we almost did because we didn't play. We were terrible. A lot of yellow cards, although not that many fouls. But yeah, no, I think we had a lot of players that weren't on it. I think we had a lot of interesting tactics, and like I said, I think the big overarching thing that I noticed was I don't want to say we didn't do well playing Gilchrist. I think I don't know if it was either we didn't play well for Gilchrist or Gilchrist didn't play well for us, for the system. But Embuemo, I think they used Embuemo very, very well. And you can't really argue like, oh, Embuemo has been with United. Embuemo just joined the team too. So, and it's going to be interesting to see with the whole keeper with the 8-second rule with the keeper. They can't hold the ball long. I foresee a lot of long balls against the teams we play. And
you mean against us or us?
Well, just any team, every team, not even necessarily against us. I mean, I think that's the way to play against us. But I just Embuemo. That's Brentford's really good at that. Brentford was really good last season, bypassing the middle third and just getting the ball out wide to Embuemo or finding Wiesa unmarked, and the two of them just wreaked havoc in the final third. So. They did a good job at that, but I don't foresee. I mean, when we play them at our home, I think it's gonna be a completely different match. Let's put it that way.
Oh, that's loud. Yeah, I just like I said, I think we were second best to everything, and I feel like if we if we play that, if both teams play the way they played, I hate to say this, I think they win that game. If it's later in the season and they're just a bit sharper, some of those chances are going to go in, I think. And watching on Sunday at the pub where I was, I looked at my buddy and I'm just like, they're gonna get something crazy, or Simon Hooper is going to give them a penalty. I was convinced that Simon Hooper was going to give them a penalty.
You don't think we play? I get what your question was, but you don't think we play a little better in November, December? I get what you're saying, but I don't foresee us playing that bad.
What I'm saying is that there's going to be the odd performance throughout the season where it just doesn't, things just don't work. Every team in a long season, where the only sport you really don't see it is the NFL because the season is so short. But you look, you and I both, both big hockey fans. Let's face it, you and I both know what we're watching when we're watching, and it's like it's just not our night. It's just not our night. Everything is, the passes are late, the passes are behind, they're too far forward. Shots are high, shots are wide, shots are into feet, into bodies. If it's into sticks, into skates. If it's hockey, it's just, you have those nights where it just not often, and hopefully not often for us. But I feel like there's going to be, throughout the season in all competitions, with as many games as we could potentially play, there's going to be another 3, maybe 4 games like this, where we're just second best to everything, where the passes just don't link up. You know what I mean? The ball is 2 yards too far. We led the receiver of the pass too far. The pass is behind. We're late to every 50-50 ball. First touches are just heavy. And I feel like every first touch we had where we had an opportunity to create, that first touch was heavy all the time. And I just feel like when we have that performance, the way that United played, I feel like if they're a bit just, I don't know. I know what you're saying. It's like, well, you can't say that one team is going to be better without saying the other team is going to be better. But I think United win, which they didn't. And I sit here and cry over spilled milk. It's, the game is over and we won. I am a little concerned that everything we saw in preseason with the way that we played, it worries me a little bit to see it continue into the first match of the season, because we talked last week in the season preview show, I believe, about what haven't we seen? Did we see in preseason just what Arteta wanted to show? Is there more in the locker tactically? We didn't see it Sunday.
Are you sure?
If we did, it didn't work.
You saw Calafiori do what he did?
I saw, yeah. Okay. Everybody was talking about Calafiori. He did the same thing Sunday.
Yeah,
he did all preseason long. I shouldn't say all preseason long. He only played 2 games, but he did. But he was doing what he did last year too. He did it last year. Yeah, he did. Yeah, dude. All you have to do is think of the goal he scored against City. That's exactly what he was doing.
No, but it wasn't him. It wasn't him attacking. He was literally everywhere. He was on the right side. He was in the middle. He was on the left side. He was creating chaos and problems for Man U. Did he do it preseason? Yeah, but I don't know.
When he was healthy last season, when he was healthy and he was on it, he was doing the same thing.
Okay, I guess I have to rewatch because I didn't see him on the right or middle. I saw him.
Okay.
I'll agree. He was in our box. He was in the other team's box. He was doing a lot on the left-hand side, maybe in the middle, but he was coming from the left. Against Man U, it seemed like he was almost playing like Declan Rice, where he was just everywhere.
He was like, he absolutely.
You're like,
was.
Wait, what? That's Declan Rice's job. It's funny because, and the reason why I said it was so different was because I think because Calafiori was so much everywhere and he's creating chaos and he was putting his hand in every cookie jar. I think Saka and White kind of suffered for that. I don't think White had a good game. I don't think Saka had a good game. I think they weren't on it. Ben White was caught out of position multiple times. He was trying to overlap way too much, and it's tough because when you have a player who's very good at overlapping and creating so much with Saka, and you have Calafiori running around like a crazy person, the counter is just there. We're going to get countered. We're going to get fucked.
Right.
So I am nervous about that. So I don't really know if I want to see White and Calafiori be in the same 11, just because of their mindset and how they want to move offensively, attacking wise. So it'll definitely be interesting because, yeah, like I said, White was trying to go back to what he's normally doing, his overlaps, his working with Saka, and Saka wasn't playing. Saka didn't have his best game. But like when you have Calafiori, who's also part of the back four running wild, it's like, all right, a team, they'll just be like, okay, fine, we'll have Calafiori run wild, but when we get the ball, you guys are fucked. And they did a good job of that. I will give them that. They overplayed our midfield. White and Calafiori were nowhere to be found. Odegaard had to make a lot of runs back into our third because White, Calafiori out of position, Saka out of position too, kind of. And yeah,
do you call it out of position, or do you? Because I don't think you saying they're out of position implies to me that you're not where you should be, but they're exactly, I think, where Arteta wants them to be in possession. It's just that if we lose possession, we're screwed, and that's exactly what we did because we just couldn't possess the ball. Does that make sense? Like, am I making sense there?
Yes and no. Like, yeah, we could just ball, but like they are out of position. If a team has the ball and our right fullback is in the other team's final third, and if our left fullback is somewhere in the top of the 18,
but what I'm saying is that happens when we're in possession. So if we immediately lose possession, they have no choice but to be out of position. Because they can't be in two places at once, right? So it's as though if you're playing with two balls, and you're saying, okay, we have possession. Here's where they're going to be, but United or the opposition, they also have a ball, and now they're like, is it making sense? Because we're trying to possess the ball, get Calafiori into creating that chaos from wherever. Excuse me, Ben White overlapping with Saka because that's what works for us down the right, but we can't maintain possession. So the minute we lose possession, they couldn't recover, I guess is probably the word for us to use here, is they couldn't recover in time. And the way that United played over our midfield, got the ball out wide to Cunha and Mbumo to take advantage of the fact that we are out of position. Yes. But to say that like, it's a matter of recovery at that point. You know what I mean? Like they've got to get back, but because United, rather than United just bypass midfield, play over the top of it, because as you said, and I agree 100%, their midfield stinks, but bypass the midfield, bypass our midfield, get the ball out wide over the top to your wingers who, as much as I hate to say it and give credit to them, United surprised me on Sunday with as well as they played. It would give me pause. If I could revisit some of my predictions, I might change some things and put them in there. I'm not saying they're gonna have a great year, but they looked better than I thought they would. I really thought we would just run over them on Sunday. But it's a high risk, high reward style that we're going to play, right? I mean, that's what Arteta wants. He wants Calafiori creating that chaos in the final third. He wants Ben White overlapping with Bukayo Saka and, interchanging with Martin Odegaard on the right-hand side. So if we lose possession and the opposition is going to play the way that United did, there's nothing really we can do but just try to recover and get back as quickly as possible.
No, like I said, I don't think you could play worse than what we did and get 3 points and a clean sheet. So
you say, wait, did you say we can't? You can or cannot play worse?
No, we can't. I don't think we can. I don't think
yeah.
But I think, Yeah, I mean, I think both things are true. I think we played really bad. I think Man U played really good. I think they played above what their average playing is going to be this season. I think we played well below it. So
Well, we
I
definitely
think,
played well below it for sure.
yeah, and I also think
We're
like,
not.
yeah, and that's going to be the case. Like we're going to make them look good. They're going to make us look bad. Like it's just how it's going to be.
Yeah.
I'm not terribly worried. Again, first game at a place where we normally play bad anyway. I think it's the first game of the season. We have a lot of new signings, so I think it's going to be interesting to see. Like I said, I mean, these guys are both not necessarily. Well, Calipari is a little newer, but not this season new. Like I don't know if we could play Ben White and Calipari, and I know we're managing Timber's minutes, but he's going to get some game time out. Having Miles O'Scally and Timber come off the bench is like immense for us. Two fullbacks that could probably start anywhere in the Premier League. But that's not going to happen every game. I do think we're going to have to mix and match at fullback.
Sure. Yeah. I don't think it's I do agree that I'm not sure, but I don't know that so if Timber plays on the right and Calafiori starts on the left, Timber doesn't make the overlapping runs like Ben White does. We don't play the same down the right with Uri. He does it. I don't think it's as effective as it is with Ben White. But it'll be interesting to see what he does going forward, and especially considering that White and Timber are both carrying some sort of injury right now because neither one of them were in training at all this week, from what I understand.
Timber was training today. I don't know about White. I know Timber
Ben White hasn't trained all week. I know that. And at least earlier in the week, I don't think Timber was training. If he trained today, that's good news. Let's get into Gyökeres. This is going to be a process. This is going to be a process because he wants to play so direct. He wants to get defenders in space 1v1 and go at them, and that's just not what we do. And I said this, I've been stewing on this thought all week. I said back in the summertime, mid-June, let's say, one of the first shows that we did, and we were talking about, is it Gyökeres? Is it Šeško? Who's it going to be? And I said, we see all these comps and we see all these videos and highlights and how great these guys are and the way they're scoring goals and this, that, and the other thing. And it's like, that's great, but it's a highlight reel, right? You're going to see simply the best plays that they've made. That's what it is. That's what a highlight reel is. And I said, what I wanted to see is I want to see which of these guys is going to play better in our system. Because I just don't think this system is going to adapt to a player like Gyökeres, where he'll get his chances because there will be times when we hit on a counter and we get him the ball and he does his thing. By and large, that's not going to be what he does. And if he can't adapt to our system in the way that we want to play, this is going to be a waste of money. I hate to say that. It's going to be a waste of money. I think you're going to hear a lot of people for the first probably 2 months of the season criticize him, and it's not his fault. And I won't say that it probably shouldn't say it's a waste of money. Okay, I don't know that it's going to take some time for him to gel and get comfortable with what it is we want to do, find his footing, and be able to figure out how to score goals from very tight spaces, because that's what he's going to have to do, because we're just not going to play long balls to him constantly all game long. We're not going to hit on the counter. It's not what Arteta wants to do. He wants to dominate possession. He wants to methodically build out from the back. And Gyökeres making his runs, it's just not how we play. We basically, to me, if I can simplify for a minute, within possession, and I think any team wants to do this, but you just basically want to, it's like a Venus flytrap, right? You just keep going until bang, and there's the goal. But you just condense, whap, and you score. That's what Arteta wants to do. It's very much oversimplification of it, but that's just not where Gyökeres is going to get his goals from. So I'm preparing myself. The Gyökeres, it may take him a while to score a goal, and it's not going to look pretty. The final product for us is still not going to be there for a couple of months yet. I don't think. I don't think we're going to start to really see things gel and really come together until October-ish. So not disappointed with him. I think he played well considering he's in a very, very, very different system. And it's not the style that he's used to playing, that he likes to play. I certainly didn't think he was horrible. I just think it's going to take a while for him to get comfortable with what we're doing.
Interesting. I think it was interesting to see him play. I think it was, was it Arteta adapting to him adapting to Arteta? I think it was a little bit of both. I think I saw a lot of things that he did that were very much Kai Havertzy that I was like, I don't really want you doing that. You don't need to do all that. But then there was instances. Shut up. There was also instances. Sorry, no, you don't do my thought here. There was instances where I saw Gyökeres doing what he does best. Odegaard had the ball, and instead of playing him through, he played Saka. So I think the players should get some. I don't want to say the blame. Blame's always a strong word, but I think the players should be coming into this and being like, like Odegaard needs to adapt to Gyökeres. Saka needs to adapt. Like these players need to adapt to him too, and he needs to adapt to them as well. Because there was a lot of chances that Odegaard could have played Gyökeres in, and he scores a goal. Like he scores 2 of those goals. We're not talking about him. We're like, oh, he's great. He's the best signing in the Premier League this season. We're not having this discussion. But Odegaard passes to Saka instead, and we are having this discussion. So I think the players need to adapt to Gyökeres. I think in a way Gyökeres needs to adapt to the players. There were a lot of times where we had the ball and we were attacking. Odegaard was carrying the ball up quite a few times, and Gyökeres wasn't even there because he was too busy making the runs back. He was tracking back. He was making the inroads on the left-hand side, coming into the middle, and by the time Odegaard was in the final third, it was a little too late. So, I think it's one game, so it's hard to really say what's actually going on. But yeah, I don't think Gyökeres played as bad as. I mean, yeah, he was ineffective. But had Odegaard gave him 1 or 2 of those balls when he was running with them, we're having a different conversation. So
obviously if he can bury it. I mean, even when he had the ball coming down the left and he tried to pull up and he lost control of it, right? And we lose possession immediately. It 1 or 2, key passes here or there, absolutely. But I do think in general, it's going to take some time. Bronx Gunner said he settled within the first 5 games. I think he's settled. I think he is settled. I think it's just going to take time for him to get used to how we want to play. Like you said, you see some things that he's doing that Kai would do, and you're like, no, don't do that. That's not what I want you to do. But that's what Arteta wants out of that role. That's what he wants out of that position. So now you're asking Gyökeres to basically kind of do the things that Kai does. It's just not his game right now. It's not his style of play right now. So I think there are going to be some very uncomfortable moments with him in this system, especially now that Kai is out longer term, which we'll get into here in a second. But there could be some growing pains with Gyökeres coming in. The song, by the way, dude, is it bad that I had to put out on Twitter? I'm like, what is the song? Like, I got the lyrics down, but what is the song that? And I'm like, I know it, but I couldn't think of it. It's "Push It" from Salt and Pepper. Do 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 do. That is crazy. What did you just do?
Dude, I hit a button and it blurred my background. Fuck. Yeah.
That's kind of neat. How did you do that?
Theo doesn't want to be on the show, so I told him I'll see what I could do. I don't explore the background. It's kind of cool.
It is kind of cool. I want to know how you did that.
I literally hit a button. I don't know. Like, anyways, yeah, I don't have any Arsenal things to show in this part of my room. So,
I just want to know how you did. Anyway, all right, whatever. Anyway, it's cool. It's kind of a cool look. I ain't gonna lie to you. I like it. I dig it. Anything else on Gyökeres? I'm not overly concerned with it, but I do think it's going to take some time to.
No, yeah, I want, and like his like, again, this, I don't know if he's fit. I don't know what the deal is because his pressure wasn't good. He didn't really press that well. And like Arteta like made it apparent he was not happy with his pressing. So like I don't know where we go from here. Does he just keep pressing away like Kai Havertz does and he just gets that? I don't know. I want him to be almost like the dude. Like I always. So when I'm playing, especially if I'm in net, my team knows. I call the person who's always hanging, their striker that's always hanging with the last line of defense, I call him a cherry because they cherry pick. And I kind of want him to do that. I kind of want him to cherry pick a little bit. I know like that's not how Arteta plays, but I think, again, a few of the chances we had where Odegaard was carrying it up and Gyökeres is too far back. Like he needs to be involved in every play. When we get to the final third, he needs to. Let's put it this way: every time we enter the final third, I want to see him on my television screen, and I didn't, and not every time did I see him on the screen. So, and we're a team that likes to turn the ball over in their final third, in our final third, in our final third or their final third, whatever. We turn over all the time. So, like, why is Gyökeres already there? Like, it's just, I think we're asking Gyökeres to do a lot, especially when, I mean, unless Arteta's like, listen, I don't need him to score 20 goals. I only need him to score 10. And if you don't need Gyökeres to be our, if you don't want Gyökeres going for the golden boot, if you don't want him really scoring like a goal a game, then fine. Like, let him do this. But if you bought him because you need his 50 goals a season, then he's got to play a little bit of a cherry picker's game. I'm not saying for 90 minutes, but again, like I said, if we're entering the final third, he needs to be on my television screen somewhere. I mean, he's our striker.
Yeah. I'm trying to pull up the Chelsea West Ham. I think it's like 3-1 Chelsea already. But for some reason on the Premier League app, there is no matches available for match week 2. So Premier League, if you're watching, and I know you are, fix your app. And it just updated. So fix the app. So Kai's injury, and I know I told you guys yesterday in the group chat that it's probably his ACL. It's not now his ACL, and they are.
You hear knee injury, you're so funny. He did his ACL. It's like,
well, so here's what I'm. Okay, so I'm hearing non-contact in training, long term.
Well, he didn't hurt it in training. He hurt it in the Man U game. And they isolated the clip where he got hurt. What's his name?
It's
Ugarte.
So what I'm hearing is this is not actually an injury. It's not an injury. It's just not comfortable for him to play. He basically needs his knee scoped, meaning he needs his knee cleaned up. He's got some shit going on in his knee. They need to go in. They're not going to be able to manage it like what they're trying to do and keep this at like 3 to 5 weeks. It's going to be a 2-month thing. He's going to have a small procedure done on his knee and he'll be back. He should be back by the end of October at the latest is what I would bet. But everything that I heard yesterday about 2 days ago.
2 days ago.
2 days ago. Everything I heard about the injury pointed to, and I promise you I'm not the only one. It was like, that's what it was.
Because you're us, but you feel the worst. But like I ACL didn't cross my mind once until you said it. And I'm like, what? I guess it could be because it's a common injury, but I wasn't having it.
It's basically some cartilage floating around in his knee, so it shouldn't be. When they
Also,
say that,
has any where did you because I heard the same thing, but like where did we hear this? Or it's speculated because they didn't announce anything. They just said he's got a knee thing. He's got a knee thing. We don't know when he's returning.
Who was I listening to? I was just listening to somebody the other day. Who was I listening to that talked about this? Was it Latte Firm? I don't remember, but I know I heard it in multiple places. Was like, basically, this is just, it's a knee scope, but they're going to try to manage it. They haven't announced anything at all. So take that as like, hockey shit, lower body injury, but I mean, they did announce, they did say knee. I mean, it was all over the place when Ornstein put it out there that it's his knee. Yeah. So yeah, if you've had, your knee scoped before and had the cleanup done, which is basically what it is. Yeah. It's painful to play through considering all of the things that he has to do, the starting, the stopping, planting, turning, all of that. It's going to hurt like hell. And it's probably very uncomfortable, but I don't think this was an injury that he picked up against United. I think it's just an ongoing thing that it's just got to happen for him now.
I don't know. I don't think
regardless, it's happening. It doesn't, when it happened doesn't really, that's kind of irrelevant at this point. But given, now the more detail that has come out about it, I'm not overly concerned. I quite frankly, it could be a bit of a blessing in disguise because, as I just said about Gyökeres, and it's going to take time for this to really come together and start to work. I fear that with a healthy Kai, that Gyökeres doesn't get enough time, match in, match out, to try to make this work, because it's going to happen in the match. It's not going to happen in training. It's going to happen in the matches because you just, as I've said before, you cannot simulate match speed in training. You just can't. And things like this, I don't think you're going to be able to simulate. It's got to happen within the game. And that's where he's going to get more comfortable doing the things that we want to do and adapting to it. So maybe not having Kai available for 4 to 6, maybe 8 weeks, I think could be a bit of a blessing in disguise to get Gyökeres not up to speed, but to get him meshed in with the team and comfortable, because we've got to play him now. I mean, you take him off, it's 70 minutes. I don't know who you're going to bring on. Leo, who kind of slides into that backup 9 role now? Is it, are we just kind of striker by committee behind Gyökeres now? Martinelli, Trossard, Eze, Madueke?
No, it would be Mourinho, Leo, and I think
you really think we're going to do this with Mourinho again? You really think he's going to do that with Mourinho again?
Well, what do we do? Yeah, who else would we do?
And with all the injuries last year, I feel like that's what created that. But there's Matt
Leo wasn't hurt. He played over Leo.
Yeah, but Leo was the better option on the left wing.
Okay, but Martinelli, one of them, he loves Martinelli, and I think if push comes to shove, I think he loves Leo more than Mourinho. So it's like 2 of them have to play, but he still played over both of them. Like, yeah, one played left wing, I get that, but he was always the middle. He was our guy. He was our plan C.
And I don't disagree with what Bronxcutter's saying. I mean, he does he finishes very well.
I think he'll get minutes. But I mean, we'll get to Eze, but I think Eze plays a false 9. He has played a false 9 too.
Yeah.
So I think if we, depending on game state, I think we'll see Eze. And I think where like maybe starting 11 wise, you won't see Eze and Odegaard play together. I think if we're making subs, you bring Gyökeres off. Again, game state, you could see Eze and Odegaard playing more together. Again, depending on where we play Eze, we could be playing as a false 9. We could be playing as a left wing. Again, we'll get to him. But yeah, I think Mourinho is going to get a couple more sniffs at the striker role. I like him better than Leo or Martinelli in the middle anyway. So
okay, no, Madueke. You don't think he can do it, or you don't think he will?
He can, but I'd rather have him on the left or backing Saka up if we, if let's say he had to start Saka for whatever reason, we could bring Menweke in.
Okay. Well, let's get to it. The big news that broke on Wednesday, and now come to find out, well, at least the rumor is out there anyway, that, this has been going on behind the scenes for 2 weeks, longer than that, really, when you think about it. But the deal has been in place for 2 weeks now. Not real sure why we would dither for 2 weeks with this, but apparently we did. But
because of Ethan. I think Ethan had a big role. I think it was this is definitely longer than 2 weeks. I think how do I say this? I think we inquired. We were like, okay, we're gonna wait for the thing to expire, which I think it expired 2 weeks ago, his release clause. And then we
expired August 1st. So 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, 2-3 weeks ago, whatever. And then I think we kind of talked to the management. We're like, okay, like, what are we thinking here? What are we looking at here? They told us, and we were like, okay. It was kind of like, I'll let you know. It's like when you get invited to go out in a couple weeks. You're like, hey, playing this party in 3 weeks. Like, let me know if you make it. Yeah, yeah, I'll let you know. Bye. And I think it was just kind of left there. And then I see. It's funny. At first, I was like, "Oh, Kai's thing must be serious because we're gunning."
That's what everybody thought. Everybody was like, "Oh my god!" But
I think
it wasn't. The two are completely unrelated.
I don't think I disagree with that. I think they're somewhat related. I think we need another attacker. We knew what Eze's price was. We were considering it. We were like, okay, we'll see. And I think we were looking for alternative options, cheaper options, because let's face it, I think before the Havertz injury, I don't really even now that we signed him, it's gonna be very interesting to see where we put him, where we want him to play, because he is the type of player that for me needs to play a lot of minutes. He's not going to be playing off the bench every week. He's not going to be going in at 80 minutes and getting a quick run out, and that's it. This guy's going to be vital to us winning trophies. And I think before Havertz, I think we kind of knew that. So we were like, okay, why are we gonna spend 60 million on this guy who we don't really know where he's going to play? There was reports saying that they see him as an attacking midfielder, not a left winger. He's more of a 10. And we're going to pay all this money when we have our captain Odegaard. We have Rice we paid 100 million for. We have all these important signings. But I think, and again, like you said yourself, this Havertz thing has been a thing. I think his injury has been a thing. I think that's why I think I hurt the Man U game, because I think after the Man U game, because they said Sunday was when I think it was Tim Lewis. Sunday was when Tim Lewis contacted Mark Parrish and was like, all right, let's get this thing done. And that was probably, I would assume it's probably right after our game. I think Kai was not doing too well. He played a few minutes. He's like, okay, no, I'm fucking hurt. And I think that's when we got the ball rolling on that. I'm like, what? I think we're going to come to this party. I think I'm going to bring a dip and some queso, and kind of planned accordingly. So whereas I think we were linked with him, and I think we liked the player, but besides the country, but like the price, because that's another thing Ornstein did report. He reported that 60 million was way too much for us. We saw him as a $40 million player, which people say 60 million. People I saw on Twitter saying 60 million is a bargain. But then I say, well, but he's not. But where would you put him in our 11 right now? I mean, you can make the argument, yeah, we'll put him in instead of Odegaard. But and again, and this is why it's kind of unfair in ways where Odegaard holds a little more water than some of the players in this team, because he is the captain. He is essentially you could say Saka is the face of the club, but I wouldn't argue that. But in a way, Odegaard is the face of the club. When they have, Arsenal charity functions and Arsenal things here and there, he's the one that shows up. He's the figurehead. He's the one that's going to go to all these things because he's the captain. So, is Eze going to replace him on the pitch? That doesn't really make much sense to me. He's not going to replace Rice who is a 100 million plus player. So yeah, so I understood that. I understood Ornstein's reporting. Like if it was 40 million, yeah, we could utilize him off the bench. But now with this Kai Havertz thing, and I think, whereas I think this is probably a 2-month minimum thing, I don't foresee him back in 2 months. I think this is going to linger. I think we're going to take our time. We're going to be cautious with them because let's face it, at the end of the day, we don't now especially now with Eze. I mean, obviously injuries are going to happen. I'm not saying they're not, but I'm not worried about it. I want Kai to come back 100%. I'm not. We don't look at our bench. You know, when they announced the rosters, they announced the rosters. Jeez, how American of me. When they announced the starting 11, they announced the bench. There was, what did they say? I think George Bird tweeted it. There was like 6 first-team players in the Arsenal squad that didn't even make the bench. Of course, we found out Norgard was actually hurt, which I didn't know that. But Norgard was Norgard. It was obviously a lot of players we were going to sell, but still a lot of players that are in the first-team squad got preseason minutes. So, yeah, there's going to – and it's funny we talk about this as a signing and how important it is and how I listen, it's well documented, and you saw the text messages. I said Eze or bust, and I'm very excited. I'm very, very excited about it. But like now, we have to just. And I'm not trying to change the subject here, but like now it's like more than ever we need to sell. And yes, injuries are going to happen. And you look at this Kai Havertz thing, and he's out. He's out for a few months, but won't be in the squad. Be out for yeah. That's what I read that. I read that earlier today, and I'm like talking in circles now because I'm very curious how we deploy Eze because I want him to start. I want him to do the 11, but I don't know where that's going to happen. I really don't. I don't know if we're going to start on the left wing. I don't. Then to me, Eze almost dims down the Madueke deal because then we're like, okay, well, if you're just going to play left wing, then why did we sign Madueke for 50 million to just back up Saka? Like, and maybe. I think that's a lot of money to pay for Saka's backup, and we talked about that. But I also said I said he was going to play left wing. That's why I like the signing. I said I loved it because he can play left wing. If we needed him, we can play in the middle. But I didn't. That's like tertiary. It's to me, it's left wing was going to be his position to make his own. And with Eze coming in, I don't know. I don't know if that's going to happen.
Did I lose you?
What?
No, I get the way that you like stopped talking. I feel like I thought like, did your mic just cut out?
No. I was talking too much. I had to stop.
I am very curious to see how we deploy him. Let me pose a theory here. I think Declan Rice is hurt. I think Declan Rice is carrying an injury. He looks heavy. I heard Clive on Arsenal Vision say that Declan Rice looks like he's playing heavy, but not in a good way. Not heavy like physical, heavy like he's carrying something like it's cumbersome for him to really get into the flow of the game. And I went back and I watched not clips. I was watching minutes at a time. I didn't rewatch the entire match from Sunday. But I'm watching clips at a time. And Declan Rice was just late to everything.
Well, if what you're saying, so I didn't read it. I didn't read into any of this. But if that's true, then okay. Then no, he won't play tomorrow, but no. I mean Liverpool's kind of crazy too. But I mean, we'll see. We'll see based on the amount of minutes Rice plays tomorrow. We'll see if he even starts against Leeds. Because if he is hurt, like we have the depth now that like
right.
As important important of a player Declan Rice is, and I picked him to get player of the season. I think he's just so vital to everything we do. We have enough depth to where we don't need to play him against Leeds. Like, not even a question.
I mean, if Rice is in fact injured, Right now,
even if he's carrying something, because I know there's a big difference between injury and carrying something. Carrying something, we don't need to play him. Why we don't need him against Leeds?
well, my question to you would be this: so if Marino sort of almost becomes the de facto backup to Gyökeres, who's Rice's backup right now? With Norgard also being hurt.
Well, Norgard's not a left 8. Norgard.
I know he's not Declan Rice's backup, but would he not theoretically push Zubamendi up to the left 8?
No. Zubamendi's in 6. Zubamendi would not be left 8.
I agree. But so here's where things get even more interesting, because that really is where Eze excels, would be in that left 8 role. That would be, in my opinion, I think that would be his best position. I think he could play the left wing, and I think he will do very well there. But I think his best position would be that left 8.
It's funny.
So if Rice is, I see conspiracy theory, but I think there's something going on with Declan Rice that's going to come out in the next few weeks when we get Eze in and settled. I think you're going to see Eberechi Eze start in that role. And we're going to kind of go back to the way we played last year, instead of having that double pivot, what we've seen kind of so far this year, where, okay, Zubamendi is going to be the holding midfielder. We're going to play with two 8s and 3 across the top. And I think Eze is going to fill into that role. And it's a bit of a conspiracy theory, but maybe it's not Kai's injury that forced this deal to go through when it did. Maybe there's something with Declan Rice that we're like, okay, that like he can still move, he can still get around, but he's going to need to take some time off. He's like, I just kind of feel like maybe that's there, because Kai and Eze just there's no overlap with anything those two do.
No, I disagree. They both can play in the middle of the pitch. I think they're both I
wouldn't see Eze as a 9. I wouldn't even see him. He
played
the false 9.
He played it at Palace. It's not his best position, but he played it. I think they both attack from the middle. They could play with if they need to. I'm Kai less so. Kai to me is more of a second striker, whereas Eze is more of a attacking midfielder, if that makes sense. But they operate in similar.
They operate in similar. Yeah, but I feel like they just do different things. I don't feel like it would be a like for like sub. If you had one on and you substituted one for the other, I don't feel like that's like for like.
It depends on who else is on the pitch. I think. Yeah. Well, again, it goes back to not another Arsenal podcast with Mike and Chris talking about this. And Chris's bold prediction was Kai Havertz was going to play the 10. And Mike laughed at him. They even made a bet about it. And yes, I'm bringing this up, Mike. They made a bet about it. And I was Team Chris. I said, no, because Kai Havertz is the second striker. To me, that's his best position. He's playing a second striker role. And in playing a second striker, you kind of have to, either you're off the side or you're playing kind of like a pseudo 10 role, which is what Kai does. Kai kind of plays a 10 when he plays second striker. He facilitates. He's not as creative as Odegaard, obviously, but Odegaard's more of a right-it anyway. I hate talking numbers and positions, but Kai Havertz is a 10. I think he can play a second striker /10 very well. And I agree with Chris. I foresaw it, and I hate to say this, Mike, you definitely owe Chris money, because I think
you and I have very different definitions of a number 10, by the way.
That's fine. And whereas I don't think bringing in Eze essentially is like, again, like you said, I don't think they're the same exact player, but I think Eze is going to play some 10, some maybe not second striker, but I think he's going to be in the middle of pitch a lot more than you think. And I think he's going to be taking some of Kai's, I'll say number 10 mark, as they say. But yeah, to me, it's interesting.
See, here's the thing with anybody on this team playing in the middle of the pitch. Nobody does it. We just don't. That's just not how we play. There's nobody there.
I think
Odegaard constantly drifts right.
He did.
Rice will play.
He played in the middle a lot against Man U. He just didn't. He just made the passes to Saka, and then he drifted towards the right, which now that we have Gyökeres, I don't understand that. I think that's going to be something that needs to be kind of hammered away at training.
One thing we agree on is we don't understand it. I do not, for the life of me, understand why on that right flank we are hell-bent on putting it's like if we could just empty all of the stadiums and put everybody in the world on the right-hand side, that's what we would do. I like there's
And I think that's
no
why
one.
I think that's a good thing, a good reason why we signed Eze, because I think.
But it's not the system.
No, but again,
But that's what I'm trying to say.
You didn't let me finish. You didn't let me finish. Eze does not, and people say, oh, he's perfect for Arteta. He's perfect for Arsenal. I could not disagree with you more. I don't think he fits in our system at all. He doesn't fit in our system, but I think he fixes our biggest problem as an attacking force. We favor the right side. Last season, we attacked the right side for 43% of the time, which is like insane. The middle was 23, the left was 33. I think that 33% is going to be Eze, and I think he's going to have a say in that left-hand side. And whereas, oh, cool, we have Odegaard and Saka on the right, and attack teams figure us out. Like, oh, okay, we have Odegaard and Saka on the right, which, by the way, were the only two players in our squad last season that created over 2 chances per match. All the teams had to do was just take care of Odegaard and Saka, and that's it. Our attack is toothless. You take 2 players out, you're done. I think with Eze, you're creating another tooth. You're creating another issue for the team. Like, yeah, he's probably going to – I mean, I would like to think there will be games where he plays Odegaard and Saka. And you can't stop all 3 of them. It's just not going to happen. But let's just say he takes Odegaard's spot, and Odegaard doesn't play. He plays for whatever reason. He's not going to play next to Saka. He's another problem that other teams have to worry about, because he is Premier League proven, so we know he's going to be a problem. It's not like he's like, oh, we gotta wait for him to adapt to the Premier League. No. He's doing that stuff now. So I think with our very strong right-sidedness, I think Eze kind of fixes that issue a little bit, and we're like, okay, cool. You guys all go to the right side. I'm going to be here on the left, and I'm going to be a problem. Let's face it. I don't. Again, it's an argument of, do we know if he's going to play left wing or not? I do think he's going to be more of a problem than Martinelli. I think teams are going to have to worry about him a lot more than Martinelli. Now, whether he's on the pitch with Martinelli or not, that remains to be seen. But people are going to worry about this left-hand side now. When you have Calafiori running around doing God knows what, and then you have Eze, I think it's going to be an issue. And he's coming from a Palace team that was 17th in possession last season. So, and he was still like creating stuff. He was still, they were very very low volume team, but he was the best player by far, and he was being recognized by all the top clubs. Like, oh, this guy's an issue. So low volume, high impact. He's gonna be a thing. And now that he's doing a team that likes to possess the ball and likes to kind of put we don't really step on the team's necks, but we like to put our foot on the other teams, or at least put our foot on their backs at least. I think he's going to help with that. I think he's going to definitely increase that left-handed.
I hope you're right. I mean, everything you said.
And he's going to make us less predictable, which is again solving the problem. Everyone says how predictable we are because of Odegaard and Saka. Well, guess what? He is not going to make us. He's not going to keep us predictable. He's not going to make us more predictable. He's going to make us less predictable. And in my opinion, you can't really argue that. It's going to be interesting to see how. And it's funny. Jackson 3.7 talks about in chat. Calafiori and Eze is going to be. I'm curious to see how they will work together. I don't know if they will, but it's going to be very interesting to see how they operate together. But yeah, no, I don't know. I'm very, 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 very excited.
Don't misunderstand me. I'm also very excited. I like this. Okay, all right. Now, transfer window out of 10. Let's assume Carl Hein just went out on loan today. Let's assume.
Also, real quick, 2 seconds for the Hein thing. People are bitching, all we know is loan. This is horrible. Like, he's not starting at Werder Bremen. He's going there to be the backup. I forget who their keeper is, but they just sold someone for $5 million, and they're looking for a backup. And I'm shocked that we couldn't. I think this is where I'm upset. I'm shocked we couldn't sell him to a club that needed a keeper because I really don't think he's that bad of a keeper. But yeah, he's not starting. So if he's not starting at Werder Bremen, like if the loan's the best we could do, the loan's the best we could do. I'm not too fussed about it. I don't know how long we'll have Kepa for. Maybe Hein will be our backup in a couple of years. I don't know, but yeah, no, sorry. It was just weird about everyone bitching about Lomer. It's like, well,
it is a
he's
thing.
not going there to start. Yeah, but like you're not going to sell him to a club and you're selling him to a club. And the club's like, yeah, you're our backup. Like they're not Arsenal. Like it's just they don't buy backups like that.
So let's just assume that the Vieira is going to go somewhere. Stuttgart. Nelson goes to Fulham. No idea what's going to happen with Samuel Lokonga because there are no rumors out there about him at all. No,
dude, I hate to say it. I think that documentary could not have done him any worse.
Right.
I think I want to say like teams like think like, oh, there's a player there kind of, and they see documentary, they're like, oh, we don't want that. We don't want him to be like all huffy puffy if he's not getting,
they're going to have to terminate his contract.
Yeah, I hate to say it. Yeah,
that's what's going to end up happening there.
Or I mean, they can find a place for him like Bundesliga 2 or La Liga 2. Like I'm sure they'll find a place, but how much we're going to get? Probably not a lot.
I mean, so let's just assume that the outgoing players, that the ones that we've talked about that need to go, they go. What's the transfer window out of 10 for you?
I don't like that you said that because to me, it depends where these players go. It depends how much money we get in. So I guess give people context. Mike from None of the Arsenal podcast asked a very similar question to us, and he's like, "Oh yeah, but disregard outgoing because who cares? We're winning now." I said, well, no, you need to care about outgoings. Like it's part of the transfer window. It's actually one half of the transfer window. And whereas, yes, I know we needed to bring players in to compete with the big trophies, I think getting rid of players could sometimes be almost as important. But yeah, I don't know. I guess I'll just have to somehow. It's so hard for me to pretend that they were just sold. So you want me to give what? You give it like a 1 to 10?
Yeah.
I guess like maybe. Like
all right, let's split the window in half. The incomings. We're not going to what rate rank the incomings.
Well, no,
so not the whole transfer window, but as far as the players that we've brought in. What is that portion of the transfer window for you out of 10?
I mean, I'd probably say like a 9, 8.5, 9. I just, it's so tough to give a 10 transfer window when I haven't seen any of these players play together, work together. I know you can't do that. It's like kind of almost like cheating, and also too, and I said this in multiple groups, I wanted Isak over Gilchrist. I think if there was one position that I wanted to be permanently proven was probably striker, because that to me that was our biggest need. And especially after this first game, I know Gilchrist is going to play better, but I'm just a lot of things that are making me uneasy about Gilchrist. Gilchrist playing for us. But yeah, I mean, obviously, yeah, I much rather have Isak or I'm not saying I'd rather have Watkins than Gilchrist. I might be going a little too far, but like I think I could see Watkins having a better season this season than Gilchrist. So it's really tough to kind of justify Gilchrist for us this season. But yeah, I'll say 9. Eze was cherry on top.
Yeah, that I would agree. I've said before that I don't like giving out 10s because I always feel like there's always room for improvement. But in this instance, I am going to give it a 10. And I don't think that Madueke comes in if we get Isak. I don't think Eze comes in if we get Isak. I
I mean,
think
that's true, but
because if so far 130 million pounds haven't gotten Isak out of Newcastle when everyone in the world knows that he's never going to play for them again, and Newcastle still won't sell him for that much because they think he's worth more, that's 2/3 of what we've spent in this transfer window. Given if it's going to take 150 million, that's 3 players that don't come here. If there's a
I'm not
budget
saying it was
for us,
possible. I'm just saying that would have.
well, what I'm saying, I'm giving it a 10 because I think across the board we have raised both the floor and the ceiling. The ceiling is the roof. We talk about this every summer. We've talked about this every summer for the last 4 or 5 years, where it's we're raising the ceiling, but somewhere along the line, we've got to raise the floor too. Shout out floor too. But I think we've done that across the board now. I think so. But I think if Isak, if not getting Isak is the reason that it's not a 10 out of 10, then I think it's better that we don't get him, because I think it takes away other players that are here now. I don't think it happens. Zubamendi happens because we've been working on that one for a while. I don't think excuse me, I don't think Eze comes in. I don't know about Madueke either. Who's the other what was the other big? Who am I missing?
Wait, what were you saying? I wasn't listening.
Who's that's great. Don't listen.
No, because I was ready to say I don't even think it's Isak. I don't consider Gilchrist a world-class striker. And I guess instead of Isak, just a world-class striker. It's like, I know we were never going to get Haaland, but like Haaland, we put Haaland in. Again, I'm not saying
do you put Mbappe in that class? Is Mbappe world-class to you?
I don't consider him a striker. I think he's more of like a winger, or he's like a striker and a 2. He's not really a 9.
All right. Because I don't know who else is out there.
I also don't like his attitude. I don't like.
Yeah. Now that I've actually and I don't know how you have that poor of an attitude playing for Real Madrid. That's just crazy to me.
He's always had that bad attitude because he was so good so young.
Get it playing it. I don't know. It's very strange to me that he goes to a club of that stature. Not that PSG isn't. They're not on that level. They're close, but they're not on that level. I can understand having that attitude at PSG, but I can't understand having that attitude at a club where there are so many players who have come before you through those doors and have been better than you. And he's just like, yeah, I don't care. Hey, God bless him. I love the confidence. I don't love the attitude. But anyway, neither here nor there. I just don't think there are a ton of world-class strikers.
There aren't. That's that. But like, you want a perfect transfer window, like we're one of the best teams in the world. So like,
I think if we're measuring quality and quantity, I think this is the perfect window, because I think if Isak comes in, which is the only other world-class striker option out there, again, if he comes in now, you're raising the quality, but you're of one position, but the quantity hurts you in others. Does that mean you know what I mean? I just feel like if Isak comes in, we don't get Eze. But Eze,
maybe.
You know what I mean? I just don't think we've got that kind of money. I don't think we're willing to spend that kind of money. I'm not sure we can. Because I know we're up against it now with UEFA financial fair play rules. Profit and sustainability within the Premier League and English football, we're fine. We've got a lot of headroom for that. But financial fair play within the UEFA rules, we're very close with Eze coming in. I think we're good, but it's close. So, yeah. I don't really have anything on Leeds. I didn't watch the Leeds-Everton match on Monday. Other than Leeds being, newly promoted, we're at home. It's the, first, home opener. The crowd should be absolutely electric at the Emirates. I don't really have much in the way of a preview. I think the starting 11 is going to be dictated more by injury now than anything else. I don't know if you want to talk about, who you think is going to start or should start. I don't have a lot of time left here. I got to get going.
No, I don't. I mean, I would
So-
like to see Timber play. I'd like to see
Play or start?
Sorry, start.
Okay.
If we're playing Calafiori,
Okay.
Isaiah, I don't think can
He's
play.
not. I'm not even sure. I'm not even sure he's going to be an official player by tomorrow.
They would have needed to complete his medical by noon today, which
Yeah,
I don't
I
know.
don't think they
I don't
did.
know if they did, so I can't say for sure. Regardless, not really. It's like game of season, so I'm not really looking for certain players to start. I just want us to, the players that are healthy to stay healthy. Leeds kind of dominated Everton when they played earlier in this. I think they played on Monday.
Yeah.
Leeds got a dodgy penalty and won 1-0, but their XG was like 2, and Everton was less than 1. Leeds are a decent team. They have a lot of, and I said this kind of in our preview show. Leeds are a team that have a lot of Premier League players. They might be like bottom tier Premier League players or bottom half the table Premier League players. They're Premier League players, and I do think they're one of the teams. I think they're the one team of the 3 that'll stay up. Even after Sunderland's 3-0 win, I do think Leeds is a team that'll stay up out of the 3. Who knows? They both might stay up. We don't know. So it won't be an easy game, but it's our first home game at the Emirates, and I think what I'm looking for most is our new signings, how they adapt to the atmosphere, because it was something that Zupameni he alluded to it when he got signed, in his behind the scenes video. He alluded to it in a training video a couple weeks ago, and then he alluded to it like a behind the scenes. I think it was another behind the scenes training video the other day where he's like, I'm so excited for the Emirates, the atmosphere. I'm excited for everything. It's going to be interesting to see someone like him, how he handles it. And hopefully it doesn't get too nervy for him. Any place is best football. And if the crowd shows up, if like they always do, then yeah, I think it's a nice way to get 3 points tomorrow.
Yeah, that's it for us. We'll be back next week. Stay tuned to the socials. We'll figure out what day is going to work for us next week because we're not sure yet. I am not available Monday night. We will talk and figure out what is going to be the best night or day for us to go forward next week. And then we've got a big one with Liverpool. We will certainly do more of a preview for Liverpool next week than what we did for Leeds today. Yeah, thanks. Jared Carver in the chat. Jackson 3-point sniper was in there. Bronx Gunner was in there as well. I don't believe I missed anyone. Bulgarian Gunner jumping in there. Been a while since we've seen you in there, pal. Thanks for being there. A lot of you watching on Twitter/X, 121 of you. So for those of you paying attention on X/Twitter, thank you guys for lasting this long with us. We appreciate it. Any final thoughts before we get out of here?
3 points, survive in advance. That's all we need.
That's it.
I mean, just play better. Hopefully you play better again that you did against United. But yeah, 3 points.
Don't think we can really play much worse than we did, but get the 3 points. That's what matters, and get on with it. So as always, ladies and gents, go to the YouTube channel. Please go to the YouTube channel. Drop us a subscription. Drop a thumbs up on the video. Click the bell icon so you never miss a show. Again, thank you to everybody in the chat watching live on YouTube/Twitter. We're going to get out of here, get on with our weekend. It's been good footy talk. We'll